Hello friends, now we start with the third section of the report, and that is the cognitive skill fitness area. This cognitive skill fitness area has to deal with three traits. These three traits are most oftenly referred as aptitude, but here we'll be looking into the qualitative aspects of them. The first one is your verbal ability. The second is your reasoning ability, the logical reasoning. The third one is your numerical ability. Look at these three traits. These three traits are most often regarded as your aptitude. In more specific ways, the quantitative aptitude. What we're trying to do here is measure these aptitudes or these abilities in a qualitative way. As you see in your scorecards, you'll have a definitive value of each of these traits on a 10-point score. In the 10 points, you may be high, low and average as discussed earlier. How do you look into the development of these things? I would encourage you to go through the self-help guides and the mentor's guide with each trait. But let us understand certain tricks and techniques that you can employ with your day-to-day activities while you go with development of these abilities. Let us start with the first ability, the verbal ability. What is verbal ability? Here we are looking from the perspective of comprehension, critical reasoning, vocabulary and application of language. In that context, we find language, we are looking here English as a language which is maybe more globally accepted. Any language for that matter has four components. One, reading. Second, writing. Third, listening. Fourth, speaking. Out of these, two are internalizing the language and two are externalizing the language. The first two, for example, like reading and listening, you internalize the things. You take in the language. While through speaking and writing, you externalize the things, that is, you give away the output. If you focus on these four methods of how do language is acquired, keep in mind that simple practices will help you to develop these things. The practices like simplistic readings of newspapers, going along and at least assigning a couple of words daily to understand and develop your vocabulary. These two words, you have to do what with these two words? Doing like, for example, learning the spelling of these two words, knowing how to pronounce these two words, writing a sentence, finding a meaning of these two words, and writing a sentence out of these two words are the four things that you can do with these words. Once you have done this for at least a period of 2, 3, 4 months, you'll have a set of vocabulary which will be like close to 60 or 120 or maybe 240 words. These words are critical while you exhibit the quality of language within you. I can very well tell you, if you have a set of 300 to 500 words, which is apart from the helping verbs or maybe the words like am, is, are, was, were, is, what, you will be able to speak and write good English. So what you need is 300 to 500 strong words. You can do it with a simplistic tool. You can go onto the Google and find 300 words used by graduates. You will find a list of words coming down, and these words you'll be able to understand from the context that we earlier discussed, like the meaning, the spelling, the pronunciation, the meaning and the use in sentence. Once you've achieved this, try to speak with your peers, with your colleagues in English. No, don't get into a state of mind of what people will think about me, what people will say whether I speak in English or sometimes not able to cope up with the environment. Don't worry. Try and speak in English. It will help you to grow. This is a phenomena that is achieved through practice. Having said that, gradually you will be trained into good verbal skills. The second thing that we come across is the logical reasoning. One of the important aspects that we measure in logical reasoning is two types of logic. One is inductive logic, the other is a deductive logic. The inductive logic is going from specific to general, you induct. You find generalizations coming from particular things. While deductive logic, you find generalization reduced to a particular situation. This is a top-down way of looking at it. In both of these contexts, you can definitely see your scores on the screen or maybe on your report. What you need to do is, if your scores are low, if your scores are average, how to improve them. The best way of doing is developing a mind of curiosity. Asking questions, however foolish it may sound, you must ask questions. Our mind has got an edge. Our mind, our intellect is far more superior, is far more active when we ask questions. When you ask questions, you are leading your intellect towards a more discriminative way of reaching towards things. It starts differentiating between things. It starts getting answers which are right or wrong, good or bad, black or white in this composition. If you see you are able to reach this kind of things, you will find your logic gradually builds up. The key here is to ask questions and seek answers. Most of us don't ask questions. We feel how other people will think about us, how other people will know that this person has got some silly questions to ask for. Don't worry, don't mind. However silly it may sound, however foolish it may sound, you ask questions to your parents, to your peers, to your professors, to your mentors. Ask questions. Asking questions will lead you to sharpen your intellect. By then, you will also develop your logical system. This is the only one of the important ways of developing your logic. The third thing that we come across is the numerical ability. Numerical ability deals with the aspect of playing with numbers. One of the important aspects that you need to focus here is numerical ability has to do with your practice. You get along enough of practice, you'll find you'll be sharpening your ability, specifically the numerical ability. Practice plays a very important role. It develops a neurocircuitry which are neural pathways to solve certain things. Numerical ability will lead you to solve your problems. This is one of the most important abilities required for solving problems, for reaching out to solutions of problems. While you practice doing things, you'll have a neural circuitry, you'll have a pathways which will enable you to always play with numbers and develop a sense of affinity towards numbers. The most important thing that you lack here is you develop a sense of fear towards numbers, you develop a sense of fear towards mathematics, or you develop a sense of fear towards solving problems. Don't do that. Solving problem is one of the best ways of solving problems is confronting them, looking towards the object that is creating a challenge for you. Let me tell you a story here. The story is about, again, Swami Vivekananda, who was in his prime of his youth, wandering monk, and when he started voyaging across India, he was there in Kashi, and while he lived in Kashi, he was coming away from his daily rituals from the river, walking towards his chambers. While he was going there were find monkeys all along the ghats of Kashi. Now these monkeys started following Swami. While he was young, he was unaware of certain things and he was a little fearful while the monkeys were following him. So he started running. While he started running, the monkeys play their own tricks. They follow what we do. So they also started running behind the monk. While they were running, Swami also got a little more fearful and started running faster. Similarly, the monkeys started running faster. In that state of affairs, suddenly he heard some voice falling on his ears. He heard, "O young lad, why run? Face the brutes." These words strikingly turned his courage Vivekananda then inflated his chest, just turned around and confronted the monkeys. The monkeys in a fraction of a second ran away. Later in his biography he narrated this experience and said these monkeys are just like the problems. Problems, when you face them upfront, in the face of them, they run away. You must develop a sense of confrontation while solving your problems. While you find numerical ability is one such thing, while we are coming along all through your developing ages, people have been always fearful about these kind of things. Do not fear. Be brave and face it. The only thing that you need is courage. 20 seconds of insane courage. You demonstrate it, you will find you will be able to overcome that fear, and you will find that things will start turning to be good for you. So these three cognitive abilities, the verbal, the reasoning and the numerical ability, will form the cognitive aspect of your skill set. I hope you practice these techniques day in and day out to find the change coming to you. Thank you.